Guys, good evening. Tonight we're going to get serious. Why do I say serious? Because tonight we're talking about Saturn and Capricorn in the first house. Saturn is a serious guy. We have to give him that respect. And it's a very dear energy to me because I have South Node in Capricorn. So it's somebody who's been a friend of mine all my life in the positive and the negative manifestations. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight is going to come from my own experience with this energy. All right? So let's go. So how do I perceive displacement? Saturn in Capricorn in the negative, because it is negative, because it's Saturn. Saturn is showing me that the energy of this sign has been used a lot, and has been kind of shifted into the minus manifestation of it, expression. So in the negative, what comes to mind? Snob. There's a snob inside of you. There's also a tyrant inside of you. Why do I say snob? Because Capricorn is a snob in the minus. He's an elitist. He's a privileged guy. I refer to him in the masculine, but yeah, he is through no fault of his own, the way he sees the world, the way he's approached the world, the way you are approaching the world with this placement, you are automatically, consciously or subconsciously, seeing yourself as a little bit higher than the rest of us, okay? That's where the elitist comes in. That's where the snob comes in. It doesn't matter what you have achieved or haven't achieved. You are going to feel that way. You're going to approach the world that way, that you are higher on a pedestal, on a higher step. There is going to be, in your eyes, there's going to be a hierarchy, and you're going to be higher than the rest of us. All right? Why does Capricorn feel that way? Why do you have that? Because the energy of Capricorn is, it's strong, it's relentless, it's hardworking, nothing is half-assed. Everything is done with a great amount of discipline. Everything is done, a lot of effort is being put into anything that is done, okay? Capricorn doesn't do anything half-assed. If Capricorn does something, they're gonna do it perfect. So there we have the perfectionist too, over and over and over. I don't like it, I'm not happy with it, I'm gonna do it again, we gotta do it again, we gotta do it again. And everybody around you is like, it's perfect. No, it's not perfect. I know what perfect is. So see how I'm being stern like that? That's there, okay? So because you approach everything that way, because you approach everything without emotion sometimes, because in order for you to give so much effort and so much energy to make something perfect, to make something that's done like immaculate, perfect. I keep saying perfect, and I need to find better synonyms for it. But you get the idea. In order to do that, you have to expend a high amount of energy, which means that a lot of you has to go into that, which means that there's no room for weakness, there's no room for self-doubt, there's no room for pity party, there's no room for failure, nothing. So if I can do that, if I can approach something and do it like that over and over and over and over again for long periods of time, for long hours, that's the workaholic too comes in here as well. I automatically perceive that I am stronger than everybody else, because everybody else is a pussy. They're whining about it. They're afraid. Everything is half-assed. Nobody takes anything seriously. There's no discipline. They're all little babies. That's how you kind of see the world. That they're all little children, and God damn it, if I don't get it done, nothing is going to get done, because I certainly can't leave it to them. All right? They don't have the discipline, they don't have the hard work, they don't have this like all or nothing attitude of emotions aside, no crying, no whining, let's do it. That's how you that was your MO many lifetimes. So once again, because you are like that, because they're babies, you once again feel like you're better in a sense. You're better, you're higher, you're more mature, you're more disciplined, okay? People can trust you with something difficult, all right? So that's where that elitism comes in. That's where that privilege comes in. It comes in from hard work. At the end of it is just because I work hard, god damn it, because I'm sitting here sacrificing my health, my personal life, everything just to achieve this. All right, that's what Capricorn does. Capricorn, nothing matters except a task, and the more difficult that task is, the more the Capricorn shines. All right, so that's where the elitist comes in, the privilege, the snob. So if I am like that, I automatically know better than others. I automatically have the answer. I automatically can come into a situation and I can right away be that leader that says, you need to listen to me because I have the resolve, the strength of character, the determination, this, not robot, but almost like a, let's say robot, like kind of like mentality where nothing is going to distract me. So that's where the snob comes in. You know, I'm smarter than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm more resilient than you. I'm more disciplined than you. I can achieve more than you. I am more than you. That's what's going on here. This snob kind of veers and not changes, shifts into a tyrant also. After a while, the same person becomes a tyrant because he is holding himself to such strict standards. Discipline, that would be the key word. Discipline, discipline. Automatically, as you are being a tyrant to yourself, you are going to be a tyrant to others, because after a while it gets really hard to be tyrannical just to yourself, that you're going to like put that on others. So if you're saying, no, there is no tyrant in me, I'm pretty happy-go-lucky, that means you're not aware of him. The tyrant is there because Saturn is in Capricorn. If Saturn was in a different sign, we'd be having a whole different story. But because it's in Capricorn, I know that the tyrant is there. And how do you catch him? He's the one that tells you that you are better than others, that you are higher than others. He's the one that's telling you that you know more than others, that you deserve more than others, that you're entitled to more than others. He's the one that's pushing you also beyond your limits, being really hard on you. And you know, that critic is always spinning in the head, like pushing you more. You can do more, work harder, you don't need to sleep, you don't need to eat. You know, just constantly like a slave driver, like driving you hard, pushing you to the edge, more, having like this like general in your head, having like a drill instructor in your head. So if we talk about the physical appearance, we're going to go back to the tyrant a little bit later. Even the look of you can be that, like where people will say, she looks, or the smirk she has on her face, the arrogance. There's going to be arrogance in your face somewhere. Somehow people are going to pick up on that, because that snob, he's going to pour out through your movements, the way you walk, maybe the way you speak. Maybe you speak like kind of like no, that's not the case. I'm going to tell you how it is. Oh, that's just stupid. It's kind of like Saturn in Virgo, all right? And just like we said with Saturn in Virgo, there's a broomstick. Here you also have a broomstick up your ass because you're uptight, the snob. You know, think of like British. Think of like, when I think of Great Britain and UK in the minus, I see that snobbery, that privilege of like, these stupid Americans. You get it. So even your appearance, in your mannerisms, you are vibrating that arrogance in a way. Like, I thought about the idea of resting bitch face could apply here, where you may be like completely unaware of it, and people are like, God, she looks so arrogant. She looks like she's, you know, like better than us. That would be there, all right? And because of that, and you know, you could be keeping to yourself a lot because it's the first house. Everybody who's got Saturn in the first or South Node in the first is going to keep a lot to themselves for different reasons. Your reason is that, why should I mess around with those kids? Opposite house is Cancer in the seventh. Why should I mess around with these immature, stupid people? Okay? That could be that. So you could be keeping away a lot from others, from interacting with others, thinking that they're beneath you. Okay? So your arrogance could be off-putting, but also it could be like a way for you to like weed people out, leave me alone. If we go back to the tyrant idea, and since the first house has to do with appearance also, that tyrant could be expressed through like the way you take care of your body. So you could be very like perfectionist as far as your hygiene goes. You know, let's say you like Clark Gable, the guy with Frankly My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn, from Gone with the Wind. He Saturn has Saturn in the first in Capricorn. He allegedly was a clean freak, a perfectionist when it came to his body. He hated body hair, so he was made sure that everything was shaved, nails were cut. Think of it like in the army. And let's say you have never been in the army in this lifetime, but you've been in that environment where everything had to be spick and span. Everything has to be cut. You know, the hair, nails, clothes, ironed, perfection. And you could be like maybe even overdoing it because you're constantly unsatisfied because you're like, no, there's a little hair right here. We gotta get rid of it. So stuff like that. Be very hard on your body. Also, maybe as far as like not giving it a lot of like nurturing, okay? Not giving your body a lot of love. You know, Capricorn does not know the idea of love. And if he does love, it's a different kind of love. It's more of like, I'm here for you. Am I not here for you or what? Didn't I get that done or what? That's the kind of love. So if we talk about like, how are you showing love to your body? Like, how are you actually taking care of your body? It would be maybe food-wise. There could be a strictness about what you eat, what you don't eat. It's there. It's like, you shouldn't have that. You should have this. And let's say you overate. Oh my God, you're such a pig. Look at you. And then you, let's say, get like an eating disorder because of that, you know, because you're trying to, you know, on one hand, you're trying to keep it under control. But then sometimes you get so tired because that tyrant, another person in your shoes, if I were to put them in your body, for them it would be very hard to carry that and they probably wouldn't make it, okay? Their nervous system would give out. In your case, because you're so used to that tyrant and critic within you, you are in a way comfortable with him, all right? You're comfortable with it. But even then, there come moments when it gets too much, too hard, and you can like fly off the handle and you can, let's say, develop an eating disorder where you know, are go from being like very strict, very like disciplined about what you eat, how much you eat, to like, let's say, bulimia, where you just overeat. Like Princess Diana, she had Saturn and Capricorn in the first, and she had like eating issues. And I would think that it would have something to do with that, where like after a while it's so hard to maintain this this discipline in a way that you just like go off the rails and you go to the other extreme, and then you're beating yourself up over it, okay? Because the critic didn't go anywhere, you know, he's still there, and he's like, what, you couldn't contain yourself? What, you got triggered, you couldn't hold it in? So that's kind of what you're living with. What else we could say here? A lot of discipline, a lot of maybe even self-hate, because Capricorn is like that. Capricorn can be so miserable, you know, in his own little world of obligation, of like what needs to be done, this like laser focus, that there could be a self-hate too, where you're just like, you're doing it and you're seeing it, you're realizing like, God damn it, I'm tired of doing this. And you hate that you can't stop. That could be there too, okay? You know, with Capricorn, Saturn and Capricorn, it's going to take a lot of self-awareness to kind of see what's happening, see that slave driver within you, and then kind of go, no, I don't have to listen to you today. I don't have to be so disciplined. I don't have to be so strict. So there could be different scenarios here, all right? How this energy manifests itself. And it could be like, let's say, who has this placement? A lot of you guys, younger people, who have like Leo South Node, a lot of you have Saturn and Capricorn. So on one hand, you could be this gregarious, larger than life, fun, very friendly, but inside of you, you'll still have that critic. Inside of you, you'll still have that like general that's like kicking your ass all the time. You'll have that. Who else? If we talk about celebrities, I mentioned Diana. And the thing with Diana is every time I see a celebrity who people like pity a lot, they go like, oh, poor this, poor her, poor, like poor Diana, Princess Di, poor Marilyn Monroe. I kind of get intrigued. I don't like to feel poor for anybody. I don't like to feel sorry for anybody. I don't like to pity anybody. The reason is because maybe it's my Capricorn South Node, is that if I see you weak, if I see you as like pitiful, then I am keeping you that way. I'm basically reinforcing and say, look at you, poor, you're so pitiful, there's no hope for you. And I'm basically validating you being small, but you're not small. I know what you are. You're expression of source, of God, okay? So if I'm looking at you small, I'm keeping you small in your fears, in your pity party. And that's why I don't do very well with people who are looking for that kind of sympathy. So when I do see like a mass feeling sorry for somebody, I'm like, I gotta look in, what's going on? I look at a lot of birth charts to begin with. So with her, I said, okay, what's going on here? Why there's so much like love for her to begin with, and what's really going on here? So the way I interpreted her chart was that, so she's got the Aquarius South Node in the second, the humanitarian idea. Chiron and Pisces also sitting there in the second. The idea of like, humanitarian work, feeling compassion, feeling sorry in a sense, touching AIDS patients without being afraid that you're going to catch that. She had that humanitarian spirit in her. She had that that idea of like, kiss babies, shake hands, smile at somebody. She had that in her, that compassion, that Pisces, all unconditional love. And then I see this Saturn in Capricorn in the first, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And then after kind of watching different things about her, real interviews, you pick up on that because she talks about a lot of times being alone. And I said that with you guys, you are automatically going to want to be alone. You're going to want to be kind of like unaffected by people because that snob in you, that little elitist that's there, is going to be like, nah, I don't have time for them. So in her, there's that interview where she gives it from her home. She spent a lot of time alone at Kensington Palace. And then you hear her say, nobody comes to see me, I never get included. So she's kind of like, she's getting what she's putting out. Her task was, the way I see it, was to get out of that solitude of hers, step over that snob. I bet there was a snob in her. There was, because if you listen to her talk, there is this like coldness from her. Even though she's so humanitarian, even though she's so like, want to be with people, there was a part of her that didn't want to be with people. And so she's kind of like, nobody wants to talk to me, I'm alone here, nobody comes to see me, because she, in a way, like, it was like self-prophecy in a sense. So her task was to cross over, to get out of that, I'm going to be here alone because I like my alone time and I'm not going to bother with them, and go and make friends with the people who are just like her. So, because then I started like analyzing like what's going on with the crown, with the royal family, like why she chose that life, like why she was thrown into that, like as a soul, she chose that experience. So then the way I thought was the crown was a mirror to her, because when I think about the British royalty and all that, I think of Capricorn energy, structure, tradition, discipline, rules. So for her, the royal family with all of their stuff was a mirror to what she was carrying inside of her. That Capricornian like tradition, structure, snobbery, privilege, elitism. And her challenge was to accept them. to kind of see them where they are, accept them by realizing that she's just like that. You know, because the opposite house is what? Cancer in the seventh. So you got to find, in order to transform that, you have to find the kid inside of you, the child. There's a child in you that wants to come out. There's a child in you that hasn't had a chance to come out and play. And if we go back to Diana, the only time that she was a child that she acted as a child was with her kids. With her kids, it was great. Her son was also in Cancer, and William's his son sign is Cancer, so it was perfect. With them, she could be that kid, she could play, but with the royals, she couldn't. But what she should have done is also kind of like be playful with them too, you know, even though they were so serious and disciplined and orderly. Her challenge was to come out and be playful with them too, you know, and not fight with them and not oppose them, but just kind of look at them and say, you know, maybe find the kid inside all of them and engage that kid. And then her relationship with them would have been totally different. That's how I see it. So the same thing with you, if we bring it back to you, you have a kid in you that is tired of discipline, that is tired of rules, that is tired of being on this pedestal somewhere, that wants to come out and play. So that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to kind of relax a little bit and like in every moment like nurture yourself, because that's what you do, you know, to get to know the kid within you. You have to be like, in every moment, what would I want to do right now? And it can be silly, it can be stupid, it can be childish, but in your case it will be great because you could use some of that energy. You're way too used to being an adult, to being serious, responsible, disciplined, reserved, cold, traditional, you know, all those things that Capricorn represents. And you forgot how to play. So the snob in you could be encountering opportunities to be silly, and you might be like, that's stupid, why would I do that? You know, because that part of you is not going to want to relinquish its power. That part of you is going to want to stay on that pedestal, on that hierarchy. It's not so much a pedestal, it's more like higher step than others. It's like, why would I come down and do that? That's going to discredit me. That's going to make me look foolish. That's one of your fears, is that your identity is tied to that. It's tied to that seriousness. It's tied to that image of like, I don't do that. That's stupid. You know, very critical. The snob, broomstick up your ass, all those things. You know, very critical and very like devaluing of like simple pleasures, simple things, cuteness, all things that feel good. You know, you're automatically gonna want to like reject them. But your challenge is to participate in all of that, so that your kid within you, the one that's been silent and suppressed, can come out and play. You got to find that kid within you. And once you allow yourself to relax, allow yourself to just let go, maybe physically, maybe not be so strict about, you know, what you're eating, let's say, but just, you know, have a cake and have a cookie, so that you don't have an episode where you fly off the rails and go eat everything in the fridge. You gotta like take it little by little and basically indulge yourself, spoil yourself. And I would even say, with Capricorn in the first, I bet you had a lifetime where you were some kind of a royal that was disconnected from people, in her own little palace, king or queen, and just kind of like looking at everybody as the commonplace, you know, the commoners. You were up here on a throne, and they were just like simple folk. I bet you had that, because when you're in that role, you can't play, you can't make a mistake, you can't crack a smile, because it's all about how you're positioning yourself. You know, you have to speak authority, you have to speak seriousness, tradition, you know, kind of like the queen. You know, if you watch The Crown, even though it's dramatized, you can see how she's, you know, she's like, I wonder what people think about me. Like sometimes they had to like ask, like, what do people think about the queen? Like, you know, and a lot of times she would hear that she's disconnected from us. And the queen herself had a south node in Capricorn. So it's interesting how like all this is, and William has south node in Capricorn, and Kate has south node in Capricorn. So you see those themes of like royalty and tradition and like what's happening there. So yeah, so I bet you were like that, and you were expected to portray an image of seriousness, and you were so used to it that right now maybe it is hard for you to crack a smile. And even with a south node like Leo, which you have, some of you may have, even though Leo would be in the 8th, but sometimes with the chart, sometimes you feel like it's like should be like equal all the houses, but they're not. Like I use Placidus, so sometimes like things end up like in or like on the edge of 2 houses, and you're like, okay, so like in your case you could have Leo south node in the 7th sitting there right at the border of 7 and 8th, so you could be like gregarious and fun and all that, but inside of you there's still that Capricornian energy of like, no, I can't lose focus, I can't lose, not too much play, not too much play. So yeah, so what else can I say? I think this is it, guys. You get the idea. And you could be, just like Diana, you could be attracting situations in your life where you will attract people that are Capricornian, cold, authority figures, parents, mirroring back to you what's in you, so that you can accept it, so you can say, wait a minute, I am just like them. Everything's a mirror. Once you accept it within you, your relationship with them changes, because then you are not critical of them. You realize, oh, wait a minute, I can be a snob too, and I can be tyrannical too. So then your tyrannical father won't get on your nerves anymore. You'll just realize, okay, this is about acceptance, like in Diana's case, okay? All right, guys, what else do we say here? I think that's it. Nothing else comes to mind. I think I've said enough. So get to know the child within you. Get to know that energy in you. There's an energy in you that wants to relax, that wants to play, that wants to spoil itself, that wants to just do things just because they're fun. You don't know how to have fun, maybe. Just kind of like going, and then, like I said, as you bring that child, as your child comes online and starts being playful and cute and like, silly and like, eating ice cream even at 12 o'clock at night, or sleeping, like make sure you give your body like plenty of rest in a way, like indulge yourself, like kind of check in with your body. What do you want? Do you want something sweet? Do you want to sleep right now? Do you want to just lay here, do nothing? And then as you bring that kid out, then you'll be able to interact with other people and be kids with them too, in a sense. They're gonna bring out the kid in you. You can maybe help them be more structured, because you always have the Capricornian energy in you, but this time around you can, help people, maybe help them get some structure, maybe a little bit of discipline, whoever needs it, because some of us could use some of that. And then they in turn can like bring out the kid in you, and you guys can just play. All right, in your case, give yourself permission to play. That's how you transform Capricornian energy. All right, my friends, this is it for this placement. I will see you next time. Bye.